at UFC Fight Night taking place this weekend in Oklahoma. Carla Esparza is coming off a controversial defeat. She is going to try and totally redeem herself this weekend against Maryna Moroz. Our own Michael Kim caught up with the fighter to discuss her fight.
All right, so Carla, you're coming off a controversial loss in a decision to Maryna Moroz back in February. What was your biggest takeaway, or maybe the lesson that you learned the most from that fight?
The biggest lesson I learned from that fight, I guess, is, just get more aggressive. Like, I think we took a little bit of time not, doing much, feeling each other out. And, I just want to be more aggressive and go for the finish. The only thing with that is, you put yourself out there. It's a possibility you're going to get finished yourself. But I think I'd rather get finished than lose another decision like that.
Right, and especially going into a bout against a fighter who's only fighting for the second time in her career in the United States in her 9 professional fights. How do you go out there and attack not really knowing what you're going to get?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know what I'm going to get with this opponent because she's come out so differently, like with different opponents. So I just think at this point in my career, I don't really game plan like super much. It's more of just kind of feeling it out because you never really know what your opponent's going to come out with, so it's kind of hard to prepare for that.
Mm-hmm. And as you prepare and probably took some time off since that last fight, how long does it take to get that bitterness out of your system after losing a decision like that?
I don't know. I'm still waiting.
Really? So it's still lingering with you?
I think those kinds of losses tend to stick with you and, hopefully motivate you in a way, who knows what's going to happen in this fight, but I think I'm definitely motivated to go out there and, get my hand raised.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of that, you've never lost 2 fights in a row in your career. How will that impact, or how has that impacted your training for this fight?
I guess kind of like what I mentioned, I think losses tend to motivate people and they motivate me. And I remember actually being in a fight a long time ago, and I had lost the fight, and I was in a possible submission, and I was telling myself in my head, "You cannot lose another fight. You cannot. You just lost. Like, you need to win this fight." And I just, fought through the submission and got the win. But I definitely don't want to break that streak.
Sure. Now, why doesn't that happen when you're possibly losing for the first time instead of losing for the second time in a row?
It's hard with like a fight like my last one because I really didn't feel that I was losing, but maybe like you said, that's a lesson that you take away from, your fights is don't get comfortable. Don't think that you're winning, just always go for the kill.
How tall are you, Carla?
5 foot and ½ an inch.
Okay. Oh, all right. So you're being honest because what they list you is somewhere between 5'1" and 5'2", so it's 5 foot and ½ an inch. All right. Well.
Yeah, I like to round up.
Okay, sure. No, I'm okay with that. The reason why I bring that up is because your opponent this weekend stands at 5'7", so there's at least a 6-inch difference between the two of you. How do you think that could work to your advantage?
Well, the fortunate thing with me is I'm not only one of the smallest people in my division, I'm one of the smallest people at my gym and just in training in general. So finding someone that's really like tall and long like that is a daily thing for me for pretty much my whole career. Every opponent I've had has been taller than me, or I've about won my height, but pretty much everyone's been taller. So I think I'm kind of used to it, and I don't know if, she's fought too many people that are small like me.
In those situations, when you've had that height disparity, do you find it easier to get them on the ground or more difficult to do so?
I honestly think it just depends on the defense and the style. You have someone like Joanna Jacek, and, she has some of the best defense in the game and she's very tall. But then you also have someone like Tisha Torres who's very short and very difficult to take down as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it just depends.
All right, well then, based on what you've seen so far about your opponent, what you know about her, how important is it to get her on the ground in this fight this weekend?
Well, what's interesting about this opponent is although she has a very strong background in boxing, and she has equally, I feel, good jujitsu off of her back, very high submission rate, very active, very like long styles. So I think she's just kind of dangerous everywhere. Her wrestling isn't there as much, I don't think. I think she like tends to kind of rely on the fact that she's comfortable off her back and on the feet. So I think it'll just kind of be interesting to see where she's stronger.
All right, if you had to pinpoint one thing, what's the key to victory for your fight against Moroz?
That's a tough one. I think just don't get finished and just run my game. You know, do my thing and not let her dictate the pace.
Besides that, what's the biggest concern that you've seen from on her end, anyway, that might be something that you need to be watching out for?
Well, I think she has a very high volume on the feet, so I think it'd be, you know, definitely left to the judges on the feet, you know, if we're striking, but also on the ground, she's, like I said, super dangerous submission game. So I don't know. I'm not too sure on that one.
All right. Well, just remember to remind yourself, I cannot lose this fight, so don't allow that to happen here this weekend, all right?
All right.
All right, so you also have one of the more interesting nicknames, especially for a fighter, the Cookie Monster. Where did that come from?
It was actually a nickname from my coach. I have a major sweet tooth, and I'm always a little, you know, taking all the cookies from the gym whenever someone brings them in. And yeah, I think it's a name that I just couldn't get away from, so it kind of stuck.
All right, what's your favorite cookie?
I have to go with the classic chocolate chip. I'm a big chocolate fan.
All right, sounds good, sounds good.
When Girl Scout season comes around, it gives my chocolate chip a run for its money.
Yeah, the Thin Mints, is that what you go for, or is there another kind?
I'm actually a Samoa kind of girl.
Oh, man,
yeah.
A girl after my own heart. I love the coconut and the chocolate. I love that. Good call on that one. All right. Is there a food that you had to put aside during training that you only break out, maybe like a cheat food after a fight?
Honestly, no. Like, I'm really small for my division, and I always kind of get my cheats in. My last cheat meal I had, or my last cheat treat, I had like this maple bacon cronut.
Ooh.
And like, I think like last week. So that was kind of I had to finish off with the sweet.
You're going to have a lot of women and people, just all in general, who have to watch what they eat, jealous when you're talking about Samoas and as well as cronuts there. That's pretty impressive. But, of course, you're working like crazy there in the gym to burn off all those calories. So you deserve that.
Oh, for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, winner, hopefully you'll get to eat some more and have actually a celebratory dinner this weekend in Oklahoma City after your victory over Maryna Moroz. And we wish you the very best there, Carla. And thank you so much for joining us here on The Morning Run.
Cool. Thanks so much.